and it's straight low. There is no borderline. There is no. It was a little bit lower. It's lower. It's not lower. I mean, we can't make up our own rules. The rules are the rules set out. Unless the referee states that the protector is a good shot, sometimes when they're too high, then we have to deem it as a low shot. And if it's a low shot, Usyk milked it for all he could, but he's entitled to. And I just remind people, it's called the abdominal protector. It's not just for the one area we all think it's for. No, your bladder, your kidneys, your appendix are all around here. And it's to protect those, so that can have an effect there. It can be, you can have internal bleeding from that. So it's there for a reason, not just for the obvious reason. Yeah. So he got hit low by a guy who can punch, and he took full advantage of it in a fight that he was winning, by the way. So I mean, but yeah. So I don't see why it was controversy. He got hit with a low blow. He was never going to get disqualified because it was an accidental shot. Yeah. So the worst that was going to happen, it would have went to the scorecards or a technical draw. But so he was never going to get disqualified because he didn't try to do it on purpose. But it was clearly, to me, and I was sat probably the closest. Well, I was sat the closest than anybody, as close as a judge, and I could hear it and I could see it, and I'm adamant it was a low shot.
Right. Look, one thing's for sure though, this is a different fight now, Cole. The form of Daniel Dubois has been so impressive. The way he bounced back, he's been here, he's beaten AJ in front of whatever it was, 90,000+ people.
Incredible.
How will he go into this fight, Cole, with that added confidence?
He'd be full of confidence at his run. Hrgovic, Miller, AJ, incredible run really. But people are all talking about Daniel Dubois' form and kind of forgetting about Usyk's form as well. You know, the guy's the master boxer. To me, it just seems like you can't really bet against him. He always finds a way and he figures people out. So for me, he's the favourite, and rightfully so. But you can make an argument for Daniel winning this fight. Sure, Daniel's certainly a better fighter than the Daniel Dubois of the first fight.
Right, we'll catch up with the lads in a bit. Look, there's so much to look forward to. Can't wait for this. But it's not just boxing on DAZN. There's football as well.
Greatness comes to DAZN this summer. The world's best players will be summoned together to decide the greatest club on earth.
Vinicius, great chance to score.
Goats will battle Wonder Kids. Fire will meet ice. From Boca to Bayern, PSG to Palmeiras, 32 clubs from across the globe will compete to be crowned
Rodrigo, what a strike that was!
world champion. And this summer, Haaland won't be watching from home, but you can on DAZN. In every country in the world. FIFA Club World Cup. Watch on DAZN from the 14th of June.
DAZN is the official global broadcaster for the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, which will feature 32 of the world's top football clubs. Teams from Europe, Asia, the Americas, Africa, Oceania will compete for the coveted Club World Champion title. Watch all 63 live matches on DAZN beginning on June 14th. And before all that, we have another heavyweight stadium fight.
Once I have my enemies hurt, there's no help for them.
They know that I'm an underdog. Always been an underdog my whole entire life.
War by name, war by nature. Fight of the year contender. Here we go. Oh! Lights out.
What a shot! Oh my days!
Wardley's done it! Take a bow. That was impressive.
This is going to be a standout fight.
Gonna be a standout fight. Fab, how's preparation going for that big night?
Everything's going fantastic. Everything's going fantastic. The buzz in the gym, for me, is crazy. The buzz around the town is crazy as well. I can't move, I can't step around without someone saying they've got their tickets, they're buzzing for the fight, they're buzzing for the show. It's the first time boxing is obviously ever been at Portman Road, so it's a real special occasion. I'm in a great place, I'm buzzing. I'm really excited for this. Yeah, I've never been more up for a fight in my life because this is really the one. And then once I tick this off, once I get rid of Gerald Miller, once I put him down, these boys over there on the stage, I'll be knocking on their doors and going, hey, I've got some words for you too, and I've got something for you as well. So I've got a job to do, but then I'll be headhunting whoever's next.
Can we see, or will we see, a banged out Portman Road?
It's looking that way. Yeah. It's heavily looking that way. Like I'm trying not to check in for the numbers every day and seeing where the tickets are at, but they're moving, they're shifting fast, and this is all without an undercard that's going to be released this week as well. So it's all off the back of just me and Miller so far, but once that undercard gets released, which is a fantastic undercard, there's going to be obviously even more tickets flying out of the door as well. So it's going to be a fantastic show, fantastic event. I always said when I came to Port Road, I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to do it for the sake of doing it. And I think everything has culminated really well for this to be a fantastic occasion.
Perfect. Well, look, the stage is set. I can see everyone sat down behind us. So let's get this show on the road and hand over to Deb Sani.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wembley Stadium for a major announcement. On July 19th, under that famous Wembley arch, history will be made. For the first time in this country, the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line. There's a lot of faces up here, a lot of people that you're going to hear from who will all play their part today, but as you can tell, there are two faces missing. So let's bring them up here. I'd like to first introduce to the stage the reigning and defending IBF World Heavyweight Champion. Please give it up for Daniel Dynamite Dubois. Okay, now let's welcome to the stage his opponent on July 19th. He is the reigning, defending WBO, WBC, WBA, Ring Magazine, Lineal World Heavyweight Champion. Please give it up for Alexander Usyk. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Alexander, for joining us. On July 19th, history will be made here at Wembley Stadium. Britain's Daniel Dynamite Dubois, the IBF World Heavyweight Champion, perhaps the biggest puncher in the division today, will take on the Ukrainian genius, the unbeaten unified World Heavyweight Champion, Alexander Usyk. But as most of you know, this is a story that runs deep. It will not be the first time that these two men have met. It was a rainy night in Wrocław, Poland, 2 years ago, August 2023, where Alexander Usyk successfully defended his crown against Daniel Dubois, and he emerged that night in front of thousands of his Ukrainian fans on Ukraine's National Independence Day. He emerged as the victor. It was a stormy night. It was an emotional night. And it was a night that many here will never, ever forget. And whilst Usyk emerged with his unified crown that night intact from that storm, he also emerged under a cloud of controversy. Daniel Dubois landed a punch in the 5th round. Usyk went down. And for a moment, time stood still. The referee that night judged that the punch was low. But many to this day are still debating, as I'm sure they will very shortly, as to whether or not the referee made the right decision. Was it above the line? Was it below the line? Was it on the line? Well, since that night, Alexander Usyk went away and became the first undisputed world heavyweight champion of the century. Daniel Dubois, he went away and he became the IBF world heavyweight champion, scoring 3 impressive back-to-back knockout wins. And now, on the quest for History, legacy and answers, fate has brought these two men back together. And whether you think that punch 2 years ago in round 5 was above the line or below the line, one thing is for sure. On July 19th, under that famous Wembley arch, live around the world on DAZN, absolutely everything is on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Usyk versus Dubois 2. This is undisputed. Let's hear first from Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren. And Frank, back at Wembley, it's another big night at Wembley Stadium for yourself, and something to really look forward to.
This is a massive night at Wembley. It's a historical night for British boxing and British sport. It's the first time ever the undisputed belts have ever been fought for in the UK. 4 of them on the line. It's history-making stuff, and it's an opportunity for Daniel to etch his name in British sporting history. He wins this fight, he's the first Brit to hold the 4 belts. That is a great, great carrot for him to go and get and to hopefully do. This is a fight against a guy who, in Alexandra, who is probably looks to be as the best heavyweight of his generation. He's certainly the best cruiserweight of his generation, and he won a gold medal in the Olympic Games. He's done everything that's asked of him. He's undefeated. He's a magnificent fighter. Every Brit he's fought, he's got the decision against or stopped them. That's 7 Brits he's beaten already. Daniel's the 8th one he faced. I should say. This is, as I say, history-making stuff. We're going to sell out here. It's going to be a fantastic night. Daniel's on a magnificent run since the loss against, controversial loss, I should say, against Alexandra, and done everything in style. Beaten 3 world-class fighters, 1 or 2-time world champion here last year. Done it in magnificent style. Showed what he was all about. The one before that beat Hrgovic, undefeated fighter, and a fighter that was much avoided and came through some torrid moments in the early part of the fight. He shipped a few right hands, but showed what he's all about and gritted his teeth. And then Babe Miller, the fight that he had immediately after his loss, was a guy who I felt would test him mentally, and he came through that test, and not only came through it, beat him and showed at any moment of the fight he's dangerous in stopping him in the last round. This is history. On the 19th of July, we're going to see history. We're going to see the best fighting the best. The number 1 against the number 2. The 2 best active heavyweights in the world. They're going to be putting it all on the line, and it's going to be something magnificent.
Frank, you say it'll all be on the line on July 19th. I know you've got a very strong view on what happened the first time that these two men met. What happened that night in August 2023?
What happened? Daniel didn't get the decision. He lost the fight. That's what happened. There was a very controversial moment about the low blow. We went through all this yesterday. As I sit here now, for me, all day long, that was a legal blow. It's not about the belt line, it's where your navel is. And the 4 minutes, he hurt. Remember, it weren't called a low blow as the punch landed. There's no doubt about it that it did hurt Alex, and there's no doubt about it that the referee gave him extra time, even when he wanted to fight on. He wanted to fight on, and the referee gave him extra time. But it's done. It's dusted. It was not Daniel's time. The referee, for me, got it wrong. He can put that right on the 19th. You can't change what's happened. We can bitch about it, moan about it, everything. You look at the record books, it says what it is. At the end of the day, it's all about now the 19th. It's about Daniel going out there, taking his referee and his judges, those 2 fists, into the ring and doing the business, which he's capable of doing it. He's absolutely shown what he's all about, as I said, in his last 3 fights. He's beaten world-class fighters and beaten them well, beaten them in sensational style. He's never in a boring fight, ever. And this is his moment. This is his moment in time to create history.
Well, let's bring in Alex Krasik from Team Usyk. Now, Alex, I'm sure you normally have a bit of a speech in front of you. Give us your reflections on the first time these two men met and your thoughts heading into this fight, please.
Dev, you hear me?
I hear you.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be back to London with the best ever boxing audience you can find in the world. So, as they say, wisdom is the fruit of experience. This can be very much related to boxing. And you know what? Daniel Dubois had his priceless experience in the first fight with Alexander Usyk. And now, he's not a kid anymore. Now, he is a mature man with the IBF belt on his waist. And the one who underestimates him does terribly wrong. What can I say? But here we have a prodigy man sitting next to me. And he has completed next to me. You're a prodigy man who has completed it all. And you know what? He is still hungry and ready to expose his version of wisdom on July 19th here at Wembley. Fighting, by the way, for something historical that never been before. He says, formerly he was thinking that he will be playing at Wembley, but now it comes that he's going to be fighting at Wembley. And one more important thing to know. This time you will see the version of Usyk that you have never seen before. No more controversies, no more question marks. Let the victory go to the one who deserves it more. God bless. Thank you very much.
Alex, I'm not going to let you go like that. We have a few things to discuss. After that first fight, and I know you've been talking about it, but we're going to talk about it some more. After the first fight, you said that you felt Daniel Dubois had a dirty plan that night and that he landed several low blows. Do you still believe that today, or was it heat of the moment?
Yeah, we made the calculation. We watched the fight and counted the low blows that he landed, but referee did not pay attention to, and it was up to 20. For that reason, you made a conclusion that that was kind of a plan to play, let's say, dirty, maybe not dirty. Ooh. Haters say it's Photoshop. But it's not. That's a real one.
So they have several photos here of various punches from the first fight. I think there is one in front of Alexander Usyk he is looking at. He is asking for a pen and a marker. A member of his team is looking to give that to him. Frank, I think you've got a photo as well. Frank's going to sign it for him.
Fine.
Why? Because it's, for me, like at my home. Okay, no problem, look at this. Maybe this. You could look this.
Good joke. No, this is no joke.
Maybe that's yours. It's for you.
So to confirm, there are several different images here of Daniel Dubois punching Alexander Usyk, which I guess Usyk team are presenting as low shots. Usyk has signed. Daniel Dubois is now signing paper here.
It was a body shot, but illegal body shot.
They're nothing to do with the actual.
Frank, I think you've got a photo in front of you as well.
Yeah, we can't afford to. I just took a photo of a picture from.
Show me this.
There, look, that's not low. That's why they stopped.
You know, friend, back I stayed like this. Oh my God, I love you, bro.
But listen, like I say, that's all history. That's in the past, and we're going to put that right. It's going to be put right. Daniel at Wembley, he's going to make your legs go all trembly.
I think this is a good time to bring in Don Charles, actually. Don, you've just witnessed a variety of photos presented. What are your thoughts?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming. Right, Usyk, me personally as a boxing coach, I have a lot of respect for you as a fighter. What you've achieved is remarkable. Yeah, but it disappoints me that you can actually stoop as low as bringing those types of photographs I'm looking at. Why don't you print one of those prints as the actual shot that had you trembling? The acting you did that night, you've heard of the Oscars, right? The Emmys. You should be given an Oscar for the performance. You conned the referee, you conned us, you conned the boxing world. I've always maintained that, and I'll still maintain it. You pride yourself as a God-fearing man. Thou shalt not lie in the name of God. So I want to question, what kind of God do you worship? Period. You can look at me as much as you want. In fact, I'll give you a photograph of mine. You can take it home and study it. You're very mentally strong, but you've met somebody who's stronger than you.
I believe for Jesus.
Jealous of what?
I believe.
Of what? Tell me what.
For Jesus.
Jealous of what?
Yeah, you.
Explain yourself.
Jesus.
Explain yourself.
Jesus.
Jesus. I'm jealous of Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen.
Do you know the way the God that I worship, the way it works is that the God has summoned you to come back here for our son here, Daniel Dubois, to get revenge on you. That's why you're here.
Okay. You're right. I deserve Oscar. It's you.
Yes, you do.
You are
Oscar
right.
is coming next.
You all right? Listen. You must teach your fighter punch clean, but I win this fight for right my hand like a jab. Bam. Enough.
You're very comical as well. You're a comedian. When you finish boxing, you've achieved greatness, in my opinion. You go down as one of the generational great. Granted, nobody's denying that, but thou shalt not cheat.
Okay. Alexander, it's a good time to talk to you. That is, I've never come out of an Alexander Usyk fight where people have said he cheated, he faked it, he acted. What are you thinking when you hear things like this from the opposite team?
I don't think about these people. I don't think about these people because it's just talking. Listen, I long time go to my God. Boxing gets pieces my life. A lot of people say, hey, listen, you not take belt heavyweight, you not take belt, 4-belt, cruiserweight. You know what I say? We'll see. We'll see. For me, it doesn't matter. It's my road. Just my road. Blah, 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 blah. It's just a lot of people. Yeah. Left seat.
Alexander, yesterday, Don Charles's son, George Fox, actually had a conversation with you, and you said, we can go to London, we can have a street fight, 4 versus 4. What was that about? Also, when you were asked about media, about the shot, you said, again, I'm ready to rematch Dubois now, let's do it street fight. Why is this? Has it bothered you?
Listen, I'm ready right now. Not after tomorrow, right now, today. But I don't have to my team. It's a Lord and Archie. But this have my team, me, March, Sergey.
Aegis.
Egg is, yeah.
Egg is ready.
Yeah, egg is ready right now. Listen, son, I don't know what this...
George Fox is the man you were speaking to yesterday.
George say, you bad guy, blah blah blah. It's a punch was legal, blah 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 blah. I say, hey, listen, how many professional fighters you have? This man, I don't have professional fighters. I do? No. How many? 5.
You have his brother. You have his
Bro, listen.
cheeseburger in McDonald's in Big Mac menu. What you have? Okay.
Just it's only talk.
Maybe
Yeah,
one.
we'll see,
one
bro.
big
Okay.
cola.
It
Bro,
was
sit here.
it was in the past, bro.
Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
Listen, I too respect for you for this team. I respect all my opponents. All my opponents who live UK, who live anybody, any world.
Mm-hmm. George, can I just pause you for one moment? I need to relay what you are saying. So you're prefacing this by saying you have a lot of respect for Alexander Usyk.
Why did you open that can with the worms? Why did you open that can with the worms? Are we here at a press conference or we're here at some kind of like a bullshitting?
We're here for a bit of everything. George, what was you saying?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. George, so basically what George Fox has said is that he feels like he has hit a nerve with Alexander Usyk by questioning the low blow or the body shot. Let's bring in, at this point, Daniel Dynamite Dubois, who has been sit here quietly so far. Daniel, I've seen you clenching your fist actually a few times whilst all of this is going on. You said you were cheated that night in Poland. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, but it's in the past now. It's happened, you know. I get a chance to put that wrong right and clear up the controversy, you know. There's a lot of shit being talked about right now, but I can't wait to put him to sleep on the night.
Let's go.
How different is this Daniel Dubois now to the one from 2 years ago?
I think I'm on fire now. I'm on fire, and I'm just pent up. I'm ready to go. It's going to be a bloodbath. I want to just put all the controversy and all of that nonsense to rest and show that I'm a man of the future.
I remember the first time you faced off with Alexander Usyk 2 years ago, press conference in London, and he started rapping, started moving around. Yesterday you pushed him and you called him a pussy. What was that about?
I don't know about all of that. I just know that on the ring, on the night, he'll be doing a funny dance in the ring when I hit him.
You believe you'll knock out Alexander Usyk?
Yeah.
You already did.
Let's keep the conversation flowing here. Let's bring in Egis Klimas from Team Usyk. Egis, I'm sure you are very much looking forward to this. What are your reflections on Fight 1? What are you thinking about Fight 2?
Hello, everybody. Low blow, no blow, sleepless nights for a lot of people. Look, Alexander showed what he's capable to do. I guarantee you, if he would see referee start counting, he would be on his feet. Don't call my man a cheater, because he didn't cheat. He had opportunity to rest, and he rested. I'm sure you had a hit in the balls before, and probably know that feeling. But he was hit in the balls, he went down, referee didn't count it. Referee gave him a time. If you wanted to say something, you got to tell to referee, not to my man. Anyway, looking forward for July 19th and to hear about Sweet Caroline again. Thank you.
Let me just bring Don Charles back in, because I saw you just shaking your head the entire time, Don. If the referee had started counting that night, what do you think? Do you think Usyk would have got up, or what?
Again, it's my opinion. From what I witnessed, I was 2 meters away from the incident, right? Not because he's my fighter, Daniel Dubois, that it was against us. There's nowhere in the world. The man I saw, his central nervous system was shut down, hence why he was trembling. He didn't even, at no point, grab the area that's supposed to have been hit. Okay, at no point did he make it automatically, that's every man here, if you've been hit by a tennis ball, whatever, automatic reaction is to reach for your groin to protect it, but he did no such thing. His hands were permanently just bit by his stomach area, trembling. Okay, there's no way he would have made the count. If I can go back to what Ignis just alluded to, every time Daniel attempted to hit his body, he stopped and pointed to his body. He basically conditioned the referee prior to the actual punch that landed in the 5th round. He conditioned the referee. Referee's only a human being. He panicked. Remember, Alexander Usyk is this great fighter that when you get to a certain level in sports, any sports, you get some kind of favoritism and protection. The referee panicked, in my opinion, with his decision. He's only a human being, okay? He had already been conditioned prior to the actual punch in question. That's my opinion.
You said one very, very right thing here, all of this conversation. This is your opinion.
Correct.
Right,
I'm entitled to it. And we're living in the days of where everything is recorded and high definition. There is not the days where the picture's a bit fuzzy. So everything I'm saying here, I challenge you or a panel, not today, we don't have time, to go and examine it. We've never really done. Call a panel on this so we can once and for all put it. In fact, you don't need no panel, because on the 19th of July, we will show you forensically, as a coach, dissected and investigated you. You will be found that on the 19th, you're going to get knocked out by my guy.
That's what we want to hear.
Looking forward for July 19th.
We don't care about no body shots. We're going to knock him out on the 19th.
Nice plan.
Well, they're talking about July 19th. Let's bring in Michael Ridout from DAZN. And Michael, what a time to come in here. What a stadium fight. So many great stadium fights. You know, Wembley stadium fights over the years. Froch Groves, Fury, of course, Daniel Dubois himself. Big night for DAZN to be involved in.
Big night, great night. Thanks, Devon. Thanks, everybody, for coming today. I just want to briefly look back on Saturday night, another stadium fight, an incredible battle that will no doubt be a Fight of the Year contender. And it highlights the strength of stadium shows in this country. And July 19th will be no different. And from what we've heard the last 20 minutes, I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement there. This is another tentpole event on a packed DAZN schedule. We've got a blockbuster weekend coming. We're in New York on Friday night. Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney all competing. And then Saturday night we're back in the fight capital of the world in Riyadh for Canelo's return. But back to this one. If you're not lucky enough to get a ticket, make sure you're watching. It's only available live, worldwide, on DAZN, your global home of boxing.
Thank you, Michael. Serge Lapin on Team Usyk has been sat there fairly quietly so far. Serge, if I've got your attention, let's get your thoughts, not so much on the first fight, but why you believe your man, Alexander Usyk, will once again become undisputed world heavyweight champion on July 19th. Give us your thoughts.
Hi everyone. Вітаю всіх. Зараз багато розмов про заборонений удар в першому бою. Давайте вспомним Дозвольте нагадати про перший бій, що наш хлопець виграв їхнього хлопця всього джебом. Джеб. Це просто джеб. Jab and knockout, you know, this boxing and jab. And I have special rules for you. And for your team, maybe I have special analytic. We have
they're boring fuckers over there, so nobody wants to them.
We have department analytic.
Don't listen to these
guys. And special for you.
Shut them up.
And we see you in July in Wembley. It's nice.
Wow.
And maybe this guy is McDonald's work. Yes. Maybe you give a big double cheeseburger and Big Mac. For me, Big Mac. For my team, double cheeseburger. Okay.
Hi everybody. Thank you so much. We go to training camp. See you later.
Well, Alexander, just before you go, let me just get a final word from Frank Warren here. Big stadium fight, and then we'll get the face-off.
Right, thanks everybody for coming along. Sorry we started late, but I would like to say also thank you to DAZN. Brilliant partnership, brilliant fights, and this is going to be something special. I want to thank Riyadh Season. I want to thank our fellow promoters ready to fight, and we are ready to fight. 19th of July, you're going to see something special. History.
Okay. Let's get a face-off. Thank you, Frank.
But there you have it. July 19th. Here at Wembley Stadium, these two go back at it again, but this time for the undisputed heavyweight crown. We've seen Don Charles' son, George Fox, make an appearance. We've seen photographs make an appearance. Lowe. Barry, what do you make of that?
Yeah, to be honest, they go at it again, but this is a different fight now. Can we have a different Daniel Dubois? A guy who believes in himself. He knows he has the fitness to go through a hard fight. He knows how to bully superstars in stadiums like he did with Anthony Joshua. So we have a more confident Daniel Dubois than ever before. But still, as Carl was alluding to at the beginning of the show, he's still up against a genius in Alexander Usyk. So it's a better fight, I think, than it was when the first fight was announced. I thought it's a more competitive fight on paper than that was. And I think Dubois will do himself proud, but he's up against it. He's going to have to put the pressure on Alexander Usyk very, very early in the fight and try and maintain it. But what he's shown against Hrgovic especially is that he can fight the pace from round one to the end of the fight, whenever that may be.
Carl? Yeah, I mean, Daniel seems really confident, and I think he's every right to be confident, although the end, Usyk was making the point, and his team were making the point that you get hit with a jab at the end and you stayed on your knee. But there has been a change in Daniel. We can see it with our own eyes. He's a different fighter. The mentality seems to be different as well, and he seems very confident, but does have a better chance to win this fight. He's a better fighter got into this one than he was in the first one. But this guy Usyk, he works people out. He figures you out. I don't even think he goes into a fight with a game plan. I think he literally has a look in the first round and then figures out as he's going along what he's going to do.
And that's his genius, isn't it? The fact that game plans will always be fluid, but I think he just goes in there thinking, what I can do, I can figure out so quick. That boxing brain he has, Gal, is something you can't teach.
Strange to see Usyk get up before it finished.
Yeah, I think he's been in these situations a lot. Like, look, he had to do all this rigmarole 2 times over with Fury, someone getting in his face, bouncing around, talking a load of nonsense to him, and he had yesterday with the pushing and all of that. And I think he's just a bit tired of it all now. So yeah, it's an interesting one to see from him.
Well, more boxing to come this weekend. It's a incredible.
This is what happens when you lose. Enjoy your rest, Ryan. You're gonna need it.
Enough talk.
get to the fight already. Hey, Haney, come on!
Sweet photographer. More like the Lion King.
The dream? More like
Stop. You're a cheater. You ain't gonna do shit. Need the juice combo? Juice? You're a cheater. You're a liar. Lying. Grab your crying apple. No more ostoring here.
Chill, boys.
Seriously?
pizza delivery. Not before us.
Ring Magazine presents Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero, powered by Fatal Fury City of Wolves, Friday, May 2nd. A card that also features Devin Haney against Jose Ramirez and Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza Jr. Then the following night, it's Destination Riyadh for Canelo Alvarez's first professional fight outside the US and Mexico, as he challenges once again to be undisputed super middleweight champion against undefeated William Skull. Buy these fights separately now or as a package, and some great savings. Check out thezone.com/boxing for all the details. Don't forget to check out our stacked up-and-coming schedule on the platform now. Matchroom, Golden Boy, Queensbury, BKFC, and the biggest and most exciting fights are streaming live and on DAZN, your global home of boxing. Well, we are joined by promoter Frank Warren, who's holding something. What is that, Frank?
He gave me this. He gave it to me. I don't know if you can see it. So he said to me, these are the points. Shoulders, front of arms, face, jaw. And he showed me that's what Eric should be. I said, but you're going to wind up like that on the night.
What did you make of it up there?
I love them. I like the team. They're good people to work with. And look, these two guys know each other well. They shared the ring together. They're not stupid people. They're very astute boxing people, and they know where Daniel's at now. And they've come here. Now, we've got the show together between us, got the home advantage for him. They fancy the job. Daniel fancies the job. I fancy Daniel to beat him. And it's going to be an unbelievable fight. This is going to be something special.
I mean, for you personally, you've promoted shows here before, but this one is another massive
History.
one. And you said it, history.
This is history. A unification fight of all the belts has never taken place in the UK, ever. 4 belts on the line, and for the winner, which I'm hoping is going to be Daniel, if he comes through this fight, if he does what I believe he can do, he will go down in sporting history, the first British boxer to be a unified champion, to hold the 4 belts. Nobody else has done it, and nobody will ever take that away from him.
Yeah. Frank, what about the atmosphere in here on the night? Obviously, Daniel's the London boy, the home fighter, but there's a lot of Brits support Usyk.
I agree. They like him. Listen, he's come here, he's beat 7 of our fighters. Controversial, the Tyson fights for me, but he's had 7 wins against 7 British fighters. And of course they like him. They like to see what he's done. He's a travelling warrior. Because of the problems in his country, he's not had any of his title fights there. It's something special. He's considered to be the best heavyweight of the 21st century based upon what he's done as winning an Olympic gold medal at lower weights to become a unified cruiserweight champion and heavyweight champion. He's done that. He's the first guy to hold the 4 belts. So he deserves all the admiration from everybody. And I certainly wouldn't take that away from him. But it's Daniel's time. Everything's going for him. It's in his own country. It's at Wembley. He had a fantastic fight here last time round when he absolutely done a job, an unbelievable job against AJ, who fought Usyk twice. 2 fights, and 2 close fights at one. Oh, say close. He was there at the end, So this is a big moment for him, and I believe, like Usyk said, and like Alex, his promoter said, Daniel's a different fighter now. He's not a kid anymore. He's a man, and he's a man mentally. That's what it's all about, is his mental ability. His skills are there, his power's there, he's got all of that, and he's not somebody who's got a lot of miles on the clock.
I was going to ask you that, Frank, because you said they've shared the ring before, but arguably they really haven't, because this Daniel Dubois is a different Daniel Dubois than when they boxed in Poland. What was the change from the Usyk fight to the Miller fight, where he believed in himself? What happened there?
I think he grew up in the Usyk fight. He knows he came away from that fight, and when we met afterwards and we sat down and discussed it, the thing was about, you should have won that fight. Forget about whether it's a low blow or not, he hurt him. And the time that the referee gave him to get back in at just under 4 minutes was ridiculous, especially when he wanted to fight on. But I said to him, you should have then jumped back on him. And I think the referee just got to him. I don't think he was mentally mature enough to deal with what was going on there. And it was what it was. But since then, we brought him back.
The belief is different, isn't it?
Sorry?
His belief in himself is different.
He sat down. I said, if you want to forget about judges and referees, that's your referee and that's your judges. Get in there, you're in the other guy's backyard, you go and kick ass. That's what you do. You go there to get the title. You guys know that. Look what you've done. You're fighters. You've all done that. You understand that. And I think he was a little, and he sat there and I could see him thinking. And that's the main reason we made the Miller fight. Because I knew Miller would test him mentally. I knew it. Well, you've seen him in action, Miller. Tries to get into your head, right?
Is that why I've got
him? But he does, doesn't he? He tries to.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted him to have that put on him. And he responded well to it in that fight. He come back with a couple of little funny quips, because he never says boo to a goose up until then. And then the Hrgovic fight, that was another tough fight. Nobody wanted to fight Hrgovic. Hrgovic was everyone avoided him. He was a mandatory for nearly 2 years, undefeated. We made that fight. I fancied it, and he came through some tough rounds. Those first 3.5 rounds, he was getting caught quite a bit by those right-handers, but he regrouped and got himself back together again and came through and done a great job at the end. And then finally, AJ, the people's hero, in Wembley, in his backyard. It's his backyard. Went there. If he had 1,000 people supporting him, that'd have been about it. Everybody was there for him, but they all cheered him coming out of the ring after that magnificent win. He's a different guy. He's coming to fight, and I'm telling you, he will win this fight.
Frank, he gets the job done. I'm going to play matchmaker here, and just because he's here, you've got one of your heavyweights here. If Daniel was to win, I know Joseph Parker was a name that was mentioned before this fight was announced. What would be the likely route for Daniel?
Well, the WBO have already said it's their turn for the next mandatory, and the WBO have already said that their defence is next. So the next defence will be against Joe Parker. And had he fought Daniel for the one belt, he's in luck. It's been a bit of luck. Whoever wins this fight, which I hope's Daniel, will have to defend against him, and he'll be fighting for the 4 belts.
Fabio?
Well, he's got a big fight, hasn't he? At Ipswich. Big fight there. He's a force to be reckoned with in the heavyweight division. He's done brilliantly. He's got that fight at Ipswich. He comes through that, which I believe he'll come through it. He comes through that. He's up in the top 5.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. Don't you worry about it. He's going to be in that mix. We'll make sure.
And you personally, Fab, how far do you believe you are? Not overlooking Miller, of course.
Of course.
But from these big nights?
I think a step or 2 away. I think, just as Frank says, I think Miller, in a similar way, is going to do for me what he did for Daniel in a different instance, though. is more of a proving point, where Daniel used Miller as a proving point of courage and spirit and bit of gamesmanship, and I've got that about me, whereas I need to use him as the WBA made me #1 mandatory contender, however, and a few people with some raised eyebrows, some question marks about that. So I thought, me and Frank, we sat down, we thought, okay, cool. If the boxing world and the community thinks there's a point to prove, I'm not against proving my point to anyone. I've done it throughout all of my career, and I'll happily do it again. So we sat down, we picked out the biggest, meanest guy we could find. We found Miller, we picked him. So we do a job on him, and I'm next in after that. I'm then looking at Daniel, Usyk, if he comes through, whoever wins, whoever's got hold of them belts, maybe Parker down the line, whoever, if they split or however it goes. But once I'm done with him, once I'm done with Miller and I've proved my point, I'm stood there going, right, come on boys, I've done my job, I've done my work. Who's next? I'll be over there on that stage. I'll put this down for that mic on that one over there.
Well, so much to look forward to. Frank, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The schedule on DAZN is just getting better and better. We are the undisputed home of boxing, and here's just a few of the highlights coming your way as part of the unrivaled schedule of fights. On May 10th, Anthony Kakachu will challenge Lee Wood for the IBO Super Featherweight World title in the second event of the DAZN Queensbury Partnership. On May 24th, Josh Taylor steps into the welterweight division for the first time, making his Queensbury debut against Echo Esterman in Glasgow. After his spectacular January knockout of David Nika, Jairo Pataya returns to headline his second pay-per-view event on DAZN in 2025. This time he'll face unbeaten Italian Claudio Sicco, 17-0, June in the Gold Coast. And the big one, just announced, Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois again face off in a major heavyweight rematch for the undisputed heavyweight title on July the 19th. Wow, what a presser. See a bit of everything there, didn't we? I mean, the juices are flowing anyway, but I, like all of us, I'm just so intrigued by this new version of Daniel Dubois against Usyk.
Yeah, look, he's definitely, there's something changed. We can see it with our own eyes in the Hrgovic, AJ performance as well, Hrgovic and Miller. There's been an incredible improvement. I think a lot of that's down to himself, growing up and maturing. I think a lot of it's down to his team, Don Charles, and Kieran Farrell as well, who doesn't really get the flowers and the credit he deserves. I think it was very, very smart actually to bring someone in like that into the camp and keep the speed. But yeah, and Usyk as well, confident, but you can see he's getting a little bit frustrated now with the questions and talking about the shot, whether it was low or okay or whatever it was. But he'll be cool and calm on the night.
All right, Barry, on the flip side, look, we asked Frank there, he wants his man to win, Daniel Dubois, and what next for Daniel Dubois? But Alexander Usyk, if he wins with all he's achieved, what next?
Well, he has nothing else to prove, so this is all for him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, money's great, by the way, so keep earning that. But I mean, there is no miles on the clock, I don't think. I don't think there's massive wear and tear. There'll come a point where they might show. But even against Fury in the second fight, he was better. Do you know what I mean? So, he's these big guys we should have a disadvantage against, and he used it to his advantage. So, I mean, he still looks fresh to me for his age, and once he starts slowing down, it's over for him.
Yeah, there's been no signs of it yet, though.
No, there hasn't been. So, I mean, long as he's fresh, and I think the way he lives his life, the way he trains, I think he can go on for as long as he wants to go on. I think so. There are got young contenders. There are new guys on the block. There are new guys coming up. Maybe this guy here. I mean, no, but they're all. He'll just want to. I think for him now, it's bucket listing for him. Boxing in big stadiums like Wembley. Boxing guys who are going to make maybe going to give him a great fight like Wardley. I think he wants that.
And what would you do, Fab, facing Alexander Usyk?
I've had the pleasure and then maybe displeasure of sparring him early on in my career as well, so I've got a little bit of a taste of what it's like to be in the ring with him. And yeah, look, there is just a box of tricks and puzzles, and he is just a wizard in that area. So for me personally, I'm not going to outbox him. I think you've probably seen in my fights, I don't try and outbox most of my opponents. I rely on what I've got, and I'll take you to a deep and dirty and rough place and try and get stuck onto him. Maybe that's what needs to be done to him. And don't get me wrong, in no way is it easily done. We've seen many attempts from Fury and Daniel to try and get hold of him and grab him and make it rough and rugged. But for me personally, I think that'd be my best way of going about it with him. It's just trying to get at him, make it ugly, because he likes that very nice, clean boxing in, out. He's very fluid with them feet. So for me, I'm not going to beat him in that area. I know my own strengths and limits. So I would have to just stay on him, stay in front of him, keep the pressure and let big shots land.
And is that exactly what Daniel Dubois needs to do? With that newfound confidence, just get on Usyk and give him hell, basically.
Yeah, I think so, especially with how big he is, how powerful he is. I think you need to let your opponent know that, look, whether that blow was low or not, however, it hurt him.
Yeah.
So that is mentally in both of their heads. Daniel's coming in with confidence, knowing I can hurt you. If I hit you and I land, whether it's in your rib, your shoulder, your arm, wherever, if I hit you properly, it hurts. So he's going to come in with that confidence, that bravado about him. And Usyk will know that a bit as well. Don't get me wrong, he's mentally as tough as they come. But he'll know that I've got to be a little bit wary of this guy because he can really bang.
Right, it's going to be the first time you've asked this for the rematch. Predictions, start with you, Fab.
I just think, yeah, I'm going Usyk. I think it's just
like there's a but though.
Yeah, look, there's a little bit of a but, because I like this new Daniel, this transition Daniel, this grown Daniel. But to bet against Usyk, I just think in most cases is a silly bet. To see how he's conquered. Yeah. The AJs, the Furies, all the rest and everything, and all the way through the cruiserweight division and everything else. To bet against him, I think is a silly bet. So for me, Usyk on points.
How's that?
I'm going to go Usyk with another stoppage. I think Dubois would be better than he was the last time. I think he'd have some success and there'd be some rocky moments there for Usyk. But I do still think that movement he constantly does makes you think too much. And for big guys to think that much tires them out. I think down the stretch then, I think that becomes Usyk's fight. And I do think a late stoppage for him.
Clean sweep. I think Daniel has a better chance this time, but I picked Usyk to beat him on points.
Well, there you have it. July 19th, the undisputed. It's like the first time in the UK these two lock horns after 2 years, almost 2 years since their first fight. Remember, you can watch it all on your global home of boxing, DAZN. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, listen up. Let's have it. You know you've always got your eye on the prize, the championship belt. And why wouldn't you? You're a finely tuned, well-oiled boxing watching machine, capable of consuming over 185 fights on DAZN every year. We've gone big, we've gone global. Churning through combinations, comebacks, and non-stop knockouts. Are you not entertained? With big fights every week, you're the best in the world. So go on, get that belt, champ. DAZN, undisputed.